Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of A Different Perspective, Raising Vibrations while chasing squirrels.
Yes.
Squirrels?
Squirrels.
Chaser?
Yes.
Squirrel.
Yes.
So
just before this, the video went on, you know, she was chasing me around the room. I ran up the wall. I came around.
you weren't supposed to tell.
Oh. Yeah, we should have had it on tape, but I'm gonna make a little short video of the squirrels in my yard. And
Okay.
on one of the beginnings of the show,
I can put that in as the beginning of the show. Yeah, do that.
Yeah, I would do that because
That'd be fun.
it's just like us. So.
Speak for yourself.
Uh-huh.
Whatever.
Well, you know,
hey, it's my story. I tell it my way.
She does. And she does, yes. Do you notice how the difference in tone, and she does, and she does, how the meaning is with our words, just by different tones
Either
and
way I do.
intonations. And yes. Well, today's show, we're going to talk a little bit about sound and what it does for us.
You make good sounds.
I make good sounds, except after I eat red onions, and those sounds aren't.
I wasn't going to go there. I was so...
It's a guy thing.
I was thinking, except the sound that's coming out of your ear, but I didn't say it.
No, but you thought it.
I thought it.
And what do I do as a living?
No.
Psychic stuff, right? Yeah. No.
No, but you really do produce amazing sound, and I love your guided meditation that you do because you use a lot of sound in there.
Yes.
And I remember, I think I did a couple times, and there were a couple times where it was just like, really, it just goes through and through.
Yeah.
And I love your drumming circle,
Mm-hmm.
the Full Moon Drumming Circle in Garden of the Gods.
Yeah. Colorado Springs.
Yep.
It's a vacation destination.
It is.
Uh-huh.
Don't tell people that they want to move here. No, it's not.
Well, look at the whole Front Range of Colorado.
Oh my gosh! It's
the population
amazing.
over the past 2 years has almost doubled.
Ugh.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of when you're driving now. Much
Yeah.
more so.
Yeah.
But it's still nothing like
But anyway.
New York. It's nothing like.
No,
New York.
no, not even.
No.
Hopefully never.
Yeah.
But anyway, so one of the sounds that I really love that goes through and through me is your ditch.
My ditch. And I will show you my ditch. I'm reaching. You see, it starts coming into the screen.
I know.
Out, in, out.
Now you see
John
it,
and his
now you
toy.
know.
And this is my didgeridoo. Well, I have four or five didgeridoos. But
And
this
you're
is,
building one right now too.
well,
Well, you were
I
a while ago.
yes, and I still haven't gone. My garage is so packed right now. It's 9 feet long, so I don't have room to work on it right now with all the stuff I have in my garage.
Is it the white one? Didn't you work one from an aspen trunk? Or something?
That one's still part done.
That's still trunk?
Yeah, I had split it and everything else, but it's laying on the floor in the garage.
It's a good place for it.
Yeah, it's a real good place for it. But I will eventually get to that one too. The
Right.
squirrel getting me distracted and stuff.
But this is your favorite one.
This is my favorite one. And this particular didgeridoo here, I guess it was almost 2 years ago, I was in a car accident.
Yeah, I remember you showed it to me afterwards, and it broke my heart.
And it literally was pretty much blown up. And if anybody knows, this is an agave cactus, and the inside of agave is literally almost identical to styrofoam. So it's very light. This only weighs 2 pounds, and it's 5 foot 6 inches tall.
Yeah, I was surprised when I picked it up earlier how light it was.
Yeah, and this thing had not only split. It looked like one of those cartoons
Oh
where
my
they stick
gosh.
something on the end of it and it blows up in fragments all over.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's what this was like.
And then it had a split going almost all the way to the top.
And multiple splits, yeah.
Right.
But the whole big sections of the bell down at the bottom of this here were gone. I mean, it was all over the trunk of the car. And it wrecked a couple of my flutes too, cracked them. One of them was a $1,500 flute.
Ouch.
Yes, that hurt. But I literally picked up all the fragments, and I mean, I'm talking about some of them were the size of pinheads, and I literally put it together on my bench into sections and fit it back in. There were some that were gone completely.
Right.
That I took another piece of agave and used it as filler.
Mm-hmm.
But I got it working again.
Right.
And it still sounds
It sounds
It still
amazing.
sounds good.
It still goes through and through.
Now,
And you can't, I mean, if you look at it at first glance, you can't tell.
right.
You can only tell that it's been busted when you get closer.
Like, yeah, if I bring it up close, you'd be able to see it, but I'm not gonna do that.
No, I was gonna say, but we're not gonna do that.
We're not gonna do that. We're just teasing you.
Take our
So
word
you're gonna have
for
to take our word. Yes, exactly. Or I can go like this. If you look into the thing, you can see the cracks. You can see the cracks.
I got nothing. Come here, I know. Come here, Mo.
I never grew up.
Mo's
I never grew up.
Look at he's like.
Yeah, this I can. Yeah.
Mo, it's okay. Come here. It's okay. Come here. It's okay.
Well, when I play it in a few
It's okay.
moments,
It's okay. Come
um,
here. It's okay.
I can bark in it and make different sounds and so forth. But
He doesn't know he's growling it.
yes.
He was okay until you talked through it.
Oh, I know, because of deep sound.
It's okay. It's okay.
But, sound plays an important part in our lives. I mean, it's part of our communication. And it's not just the sound, it's the vibration that the sound creates.
Right, and it's, when I say the ditch goes through and through me, it's the sound, but it's more the vibration.
Yeah, and if those who haven't experienced it live and only heard it and still got the feeling from it, think of it 100 times greater. You literally can have emotional shifts with it.
Absolutely,
Vibrations.
totally.
I use it not only for entertainment, I use it for meditation, I use it for healing work, sound healing, because the vibration starts to move the energy within the body, and it helps, I'll say, break the dams of stuck energy so that it starts to flow again. And I mean, I'll have people I'll play this and they'll just absolute breakdown and cry, or they'll turn around and just laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. A person who used to work in one of the metaphysical stores that I do readings at occasionally, she'd have I could see her, energy down, the frown on the face and everything, and I'd say, come on into my office, and she goes, what? I said, I'm gonna ditch you.
I was thinking, come into my dungeon, I will ditch you.
Right, and she said, oh, okay, and I do it, and all of a sudden, she'd start to curl up like this and giggle and giggle and giggle and laugh and laugh, and the rest of the day, then all of a sudden her light is lit again, and I mean literally, you could see a difference, and she's just smiling and happy. She goes, thank you so much for doing it. She goes, I have so much on my plate right now, family issues, all the different things that life can throw at us. And she says it was really got me down, and I was so worried. Now I'm feeling happy, and she could start to see some of the solutions now instead of just the problems. And music.
So it's kind of like a plunger.
In a way, yeah. It can depends on where you stick it, right? I'm going there. You give me the answer,
I know.
I go there. I'm so sorry.
I just couldn't resist that.
Yeah, me either. But the different sounds, different tones, different vibrations can have different effects on the body. If you've ever done kinesiology, the muscle testing and stuff like that, and you say you close your eyes and you hold and you get an object, and I did this with my son because he was listening to some, when he was probably around 9 or 10, maybe 11 years old, some music that, I like it, but I know to limit it, and I block some of the wording in it in my mental stuff so that because it had some negative connotations in it. I muscle tested him with it. I had him hold this, he had a CD player and a cassette. I had cassettes. And some
He just
CDs.
aged
It
himself.
just did, yeah. And
I will not admit
I am
out
like,
loud that I had cassettes.
I am
too.
like a fine wine.
No, see, we used to say that we're like fine wine. The problem is if you store it improperly, it turns to vinegar and it gets like nasty.
What are you talking about?
Right?
Right, yeah.
No, we're like good whiskey.
Good whiskey,
Or bourbon or whatever.
Oh,
that kind.
yeah.
Because
when you take it, you go, whoa!
Right, and the
Right, so
longer
if you
it sits, the better it gets because it can go bad.
Right. Good point. So you can call me Whiskey John. And now.
I got nothing on that one.
No. Or you can call me Captain Jack. Billy Joel song, remember that?
Oh yeah. Well familiar.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Check
so you
things
did the
out.
muscle testing with your son?
So I did the the muscle,
The muscle.
the muscle.
The muscle.
The muscle testing on my son holding, and it was actually a Black Sabbath, cassette of mine, and he was, going through emotional stuff. I wasn't worried about it when he was in an upbeat mood, but because he was going through a lot of emotional stuff, I didn't really want him to play it at that
Right.
point in time. So I gave him the cassette in his hand, and I muscle test him, and I gave him the description why muscle test and everything, and I said, if it's good for you, your arm will stay nice and strong. If it's not good for you, you won't be able to hold your arm up when I press down on it. And he did it, and I had him hold it to his heart too, and put his arm out, and his arm went right down. And I said, fight it, lock it in there, and he's like, and his arm would go down. And then I put one of my meditation CDs in his hand. And he didn't know which CDs were what. He didn't know. I think it was a Carlos Nakai flute CD. And he puts it to his chest, and his arm was rock hard. I said, are you locking it out? And everything's, yeah, and he goes, it's good. And I did it with a couple other ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I would flip in the Black Sabbath one, and he kept going weak with it. I said, until you are strong, I prefer you not listening to this.
That's amazing.
Right.
So,
And I didn't tell him he couldn't have it. Because
Right.
I like Black Sabbath. I like Ozzy and everything. But because of his state he was in,
no, it makes total sense to me.
and
Right.
later on, when he was doing a lot better and I put that up to him, his arm stayed strong. It was fine for him.
Right.
But I wanted to make sure that only the things that were going to support him were in his life.
No, it
At that point.
makes sense. So, real quick, because I'm sure there's some of our viewers that don't know what muscle testing is and why it's used.
Right.
So,
Muscle testing is also known as kinesiology. And your body doesn't lie, right? This is what lies, our thoughts, and what we put out through here. But our body, its cells, they all have receptors in them. But they only work with truth.
right.
So muscle testing, there's many different ways to do it. A lot of them, the most popular is putting the arm out. Is that basically you center yourself. You ask a question that's true, and you ask a question that is false, or a statement. They have the person do it. And if it's true, the arm should stay locked and strong. Now, if it's a false one, the arm should go weak. Now, if it goes opposite on you, that means you're out of polarity.
Huh.
All right? And by touching the third eye, pressing on the third eye, can reverse that back into the right polarity.
Right.
And now, but you can still test even if you're out of polarity, then you just know it's opposite.
Okay. Now, does somebody have to test you, or can you do your own testing?
You can do your own testing.
How do you do your own testing?
Well, a lot of times, you make a circle in your finger. You can go like this, two chains.
See, that doesn't work for me because
Right.
it's always...
Right. Exactly. It doesn't work for everybody. But you can also stick your finger in and try to separate them.
Oh.
All right. So this way, where you slip this finger in here and say, "My name is John," and I'm locked. Now, if I put "My name is
Tina."
Harry," I get a gap.
My name is Mo. Whoop.
Yeah. All right.
My name is not Mo. You're Mo. I know. You can't do it. You don't have thumbs.
Now, for those who are multidimensional beings with many different names at the same time, you might have problems.
Valid point. Valid point. No, but I just thought
Yeah.
yeah. So because it's pretty much a yes no.
It's pretty much a yes and no.
So what's the difference between muscle testing and using a pendulum? I mean, this was going to be a show about sound, but squirrel.
Yeah, squirrel. It's okay. It's just another tool.
Okay.
I mean, it's not kinesiology because you're not testing through your own body. You're using an outside source, right? Which is connected to your.
I was going to say,
Your
but
body.
it's still my energy.
Well, your energy is connected with it. Anything that you're going to deal with that's dealing with you, your energy is going to be involved in it.
Okay. I was just curious on that one.
Yeah, and I work with pendulums too, and I
Right.
use them for different things. But I'll say everything is related
Oh yeah,
because it's all the energy.
right.
So,
Cool.
and you know the sound vibrations. That's all energy. It moves energy.
Do you
it
see how he
shifts.
brought it back to sound?
Yes.
You're,
See,
you're
I'm
so
good. All right.
smooth.
Yeah, I'm smooth. Yeah. I'm like warm butter.
Okay, let's have some sound.
All right.
I want
Now
sound.
some sounds. Now, you know, I'll since we talked about the didgeridoo first, you know, I'll just before I even begin to play this particular thing, I use crystal bowls.
I love your crystal balls.
I use chimes, and I've got some long wind chimes that I put up on a rack, and I'll use that. I use an instrument called a Shruti box, SHRUTI. It's from India. It's it has different knobs on the top. Some of them have little flaps in the front that adjust the different sounds to different keys, and I'll play them individually, together. I have Native American flutes that I add to my sounds. I've also recorded some stuff from my keyboard to have background vibrations going on. So everything I have has a different sound and different vibration. I try to work with the different energy points of the body. Sometimes intentionally I'll work the different chakras, so I'll bring out all the different keys for those chakras.
So each chakra has a different key?
Yes. Yeah, the chakras have different keys, and I'm going to leave that homework assignment to you guys at home.
That's a different show.
That's a different show. All right. And now, and I'll...
We should do one on chakras.
Right,
Just that whole balancing and everything. But right now it's sound.
Yeah, right now it's sound, and I do actually chakra balancing also with the different sounds and vibrations. And when we do the show on the chakras, you know, there's important... Well, I'll bring it up now, too, is that not everybody's chakras have to be the red at the first, the orange for the second. It's the Roy G. Biv, if you remember that. It's the colors of the spectrum.
Right, the rainbow.
The rainbow, right? Not everybody's has to vibrate in those particular orders. It depends on your soul mission. It depends, what you're doing at the time. Your chakras can vibrate at a different frequency and change colors and stuff. Doesn't mean you're out of balance all the time.
Right.
Now, I've had some people said every time they had a chakra balance that they felt messed up, they felt out of whack, and everything else. And I said, well, because the problem is that they're going through what they've read in the books, what they've been taught is the way that you're supposed to vibrate. But we are all unique individuals, and we have all different missions. So
see, this is new to me. This is fascinating.
Right.
Because I was the old belief is like you have to balance. They all have to be like saying
so
blah,
like
blah, blah.
And I tell people when I balance people's chakras, I use white light because white light carries the full spectrum of all colors.
Right.
So when I use the white light in there, whatever that chakra is supposed to be, say the crown chakra, whatever that's supposed to be for you. If I'm using the white light, it's going to bring in and clean up that whole area, right? And impart those energies because it carries all this full spectrum of light. It's the divine light. So I work the chakras that way. Now people will argue with me on that, and that's okay. Your belief is your belief. I'm not here to change it. I'm just here to expand your thought process.
I like it.
And I had one person who literally said, every time I've gotten a chakra balance, I've been messed up sometimes for weeks.
And I get that. I believe that. Anyway, sound.
Right.
Different
now
show.
go back in, different show. Right, but they do all relate.
Well,
now,
it's all connected. Anyway.
Now I'll just give you a little
it's okay.
schooling here. Now the way to play the didgeridoo is everybody can do it. If you can make motorboat sounds or raspberries, right? The tighter you get, the higher the pitch, right? So with the didge, most times it's more loose-lipped, like that type of thing. So those who have a hard time with that, practice it. But the thing is,
I do it a lot.
Yeah.
But I do it with attitude.
Right, she does. Everything she does has an attitude to it. Yes. But it's an attitude of gratitude, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I'm a nice guy.
But 99% of the time.
So I'll just give you a little start. Now, most people who start doing the didgeridoo when they're first learning, they make fart noises out of the didgeridoo. It's extremely embarrassing, especially, well, now I point to other people. So, Wasn't me.
Sadly, I'm the only other people in the room,
She's the
so.
only other people, so the fingers are going to go in that direction.
Fortunately, he's been
But-
playing it for a long time.
But
and he
yeah,
knows what to
fortunately
do.
I can play it, yes. So I'm just going to do a little bit first here.
Wow.
And that's just, you know, I added some what they call vocals in it. I used a little dog barking, you know.
Yeah, Mo didn't growl at it.
No.
He was standing there.
Yeah, he
doing
was
this.
looking at it like, what the heck is going on in there? So that's what that thing's used for. Right. But
Make the dog wander.
you know, watching this, I don't know if you can feel any of the vibration from it. You know, depending on the sound system you have that you're listening through.
Right.
But that vibration, that sound can make a tremendous impact on a person, especially when you have the intention to help and they're open and says, yes, would you please do some sound healing with the didgeridoo? Now you have the permission to work on their energetic field.
Right. So, because this is me and I'm weird sometimes, I'm thinking, it's like, have you ever put it on top of the head of somebody and then play?
Well, while they were
Kind of
laying
when
on the
they're laying,
floor, yes,
yeah.
I've gone over their head and worked right on the top.
Oh,
of their
okay.
head. And
Because that's the image I have
and
right now.
especially,
It's like,
especially the feet.
mm,
You know, I'll walk over and I'll start the feet. And some people, I mean, they're tickled with that. And I mean, they just start giggling and squirming and laughing and stuff like that. And,
that's awesome.
and, you know, when I'm working the different chakras, sometimes when it gets down into, you know, the pelvic area, some people will say it's like, you know, riding a Harley. Some people know what I'm talking about. Some will go, what do they mean by that? The vibration, right? It can create different reactions within the body.
Huh, I
Right.
like that.
You know,
I just love the
I have-
sound of it. It's like,
yeah, I have different pitches, different keys. You know, you can toot these things. I don't do it that often, so it might take me a moment. Like a truck horn,
right.
you know. The person who I first took my first lesson and who I bought this ditch from was Aboriginal. Even though this one he was made here in the United States, because every time he was transporting his didgeridoos from Australia, they were getting damaged in transit.
Aw,
So we found a place that made them here. The person who made this one no longer makes them any longer.
oh, bummer.
Yeah, carpal tunnel numerous times, and it was just too painful. But, you know, he showed me how to do it, and I worked on it at my drum circles, so no one would hear me make fart noises with all that many people in the drums pounding. But I noticed an effect when I was playing it on people and the body, and then I had a CD out, you know, called Earth, Sea, Air,
I love that one.
and
That's the one with the whale sounds.
that's
right?
one with the whales, and I have the didge in there, and I put a little flanging on the didge on it, so it's slightly altered in a thing. But we recorded live humpback whales, the didgeridoo, and then I had my flute, and literally when I was listening, I felt I was communicating. When I picked up my flute, I was just playing it, but that vibration worked so well to help people relax into sleep or to let go of stress,
Right.
that I had a lot of psychologists working with the vets to come in who haven't been sleeping and their marriages are going to hell, you know, they're getting in trouble because, you know, they're
Right.
irritable, they're not sleeping, they're not resting. Started playing this and they were starting to get sleep.
Mm.
And marriages were being saved
Right.
and stuff like that because of the different
I
sounds
love that
and
CD. I
vibrations.
listen to it a lot.
Yeah.
I use it for meditation a lot,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, and I'll just throw a plug in.
Go for it. Go for it.
If you let
Because
me.
absolutely no, because it's amazing, and like I said, I use it for meditation because it's about an
Yeah.
hour long,
Yes, it's an hour, yeah.
and it's just for me. I mean, I listen to it with the headphones on.
Right, and the headphones are the best way to listen to this
Yes,
because
you
we recorded it in 3D, so you can feel it moving throughout.
I mean, it's really,
Yes.
but it's almost like an out of body, out of world experience
Yes.
when I listen to it. For me,
And I told
So-
people who bought the CD or downloaded the CD, to not play it in the car while driving.
Right, and
Because
it's good
then-
to sit down while you do that too.
Yes, sit or lie down.
Right.
And I had, one of the psychologists told me that the soldiers that were listening to the CD, a lot of them,
Mm-hmm.
their marriages were mended.
Yeah.
And
And I totally get that.
right, and because they got the rest, so they weren't irritable all the
Right.
time, and they started communicating again.
Mm.
And once they started resting, they were able to face the traumas that they
Right.
had and start getting,
Mhm.
healed.
Right.
And that
Love
was
that.
the intention with the music, was to bring healing in whatever form it's needed for the person listening to
I
it.
love that.
Because I also
Mo is so
Reiki,
curious.
did Reiki energy and intention with each one of the,
I
when we
know.
recorded the stuff,
It's
so that these
amazing.
energies are imparted
Mhm.
each time it's played.
Right.
So,
Oh.
I'll give just a drone
Mo, come on.
with this particular
Come
this
on.
particular,
Come on. Come on. Mo, come here. Come here. Come up. Up. It's okay. I love it.
all right. And then, to create a more in-depth or create another different type of atmosphere with it, I would add, the Shruti box. And
Yeah.
I
Play
have it
that.
set.
Put the ditch
my
aside
ditch
and
is
play
in the key of D, so I set my Shruti box with the little dials on the top in D and A. So it works with your DNA, hey.
You're so clever.
I'm so smart, I'll tell you, right?
So how'd you
And-
play this?
Well, it's a pump. It's kind of like it's a baby harmonium in a
Oh,
sense,
okay.
right? Which is like a squeeze box or what do they call it? Concertina,
Yeah.
that type of thing. Similar principles,
Okay.
and it pumps. You press it back and forth. So I'll hold it if it's in my hands. I'll hold it this way and use my thumb to bring it together. But because I'm playing multiple instruments, I'm playing sometimes with my right hand, I'm doing crystal bowls, and I'm holding the didge with my left hand. I use my feet.
Oh.
So, and I'll also add voice to this when I'm doing these things. So I'll have a microphone when I'm doing it in
Right.
concert and so forth. So I start mixing all the different sounds and vibrations together. So this is with the ditch.
love it. I know, I'm like, don't
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
But you know where I felt it? Like the whole thing, it's like right here.
Here, yeah.
Like my heart and my throat chakras, right
Mhm.
there.
Well, this is the center that expresses love,
Wow.
right? The heart chakra.
Right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah, I mean, I actually feel it. I feel very,
I know, I'm like,
you know, because there are times when I'm playing that I am carried away by what's being created, because I really am just an instrument for the instrument,
right.
because I don't know a lot of times exactly what I'm going to play, and it's never exactly the same, right?
Mhm.
Depending, you know, I'll sometimes write a meditation out, and I have it down on the floor so I can create the different sounds and create this environment, but a lot of times it shifts and changes while I'm doing it.
Right.
Everything I wrote down goes out the window because all of a sudden a vibration, a sound, something triggers by one of the tones that comes off, and I go right off into chasing squirrels
Right.
in a meditative sense, and go off in a completely different area than what I originally planned on. So I don't plan, I just outline,
Right.
you know, because outlines are changeable and mutable, where plans are locked in.
Right.
So, you know, I may have something just in case ready there. But the sounds, I mean, I don't know if you could actually hear it or feel it. You know, because we're on YouTube and you can
Well, what I
play it
suggest
back
is
is
rewind,
exactly, that's what I was
close your
bringing.
eyes and listen to it.
Right. And you know, ground yourself too. You know, if you don't know how to ground yourself, there's other YouTube videos out there on how to ground. Not from us.
Just
but
give
from
them a quick thing how to ground.
Well, I mean, I do my own method. You know, one of the simplest is take your shoes off, picture roots going down into the earth. And I always say give thanks to Mother Earth and ask Mother Earth to send her energy up to ground you. But I also, me personally, I bring in the divine light first, pure white light entering my crown chakra. And I let it fill my body, and then I send it down into the earth with love and gratitude. Right, picturing it going all the way in with roots going out from my feet to hold myself and, you know, tether myself to the earth, because a lot of us work too much in our head, meaning we're not grounded.
Right.
And we're more able to be influenced by outside things and throw us off track.
See, I look at it ego, soul. That's how I look at it. Or it's like ego, higher self. That's how I do for me. So whenever something comes through, I pay attention. Where is it? Is it in my head or is it coming from my heart?
Exactly.
If it's coming from my head, I know it's the ego.
Right. So the divine light's flowing through, I release it down into the earth, and I give gratitude to Mother Earth, and I say, please ground me, connect your energy up to that divine energy, like wrapping it around. You know, if you like to see the candy cane, how that red stripe
Right.
goes right around, think of
Like
it
a
like
coil.
that, a coil, right? So you're connecting basically heaven and earth within your body. I say a bead on a rosary or bead on a mala.
Whatever
With a
works
string.
for you. I mean,
Whatever
whatever
works.
visual works for you.
Right.
You know.
And, you know, when you're doing that, you're
I know,
able
it's
to
good
tap
energy.
into your own intuition, to that spiritual aspect of yourself, but you're grounded to the earth where you're able to function on this earthly dimension too at the same time. All right? So you're able to function on multiple levels at that point, as opposed to just being up here and going, oh, what's going on?
Right.
So that's what I do for my grounding.
I do very much,
And-
very similar to that.
You know, originally I just did with roots going into the ground, and I felt something was missing. And Mother Earth loves to be connected with that divine energy anyway. So
you know.
another person helping tether it,
Right.
you know, with that helps. I believe helps Mother Earth to transmute the toxins and chemicals that are,
Absolutely.
you know, dumped into.
Mo is like 50 Shades of Confused right now.
Right. What's going on? You know, and that's just my thoughts. You know, my perceptions, a different perspective.
What?
You know, yes. But, you know.
So I'm curious,
Mhm.
what's in there?
What's in where?
That thing that's standing up.
Oh, that was where the flutes go. I
Oh,
have a bag, and I'll hold the bag up.
because it looks like there's still something in
Yeah,
there.
she's wondering with this. It was leaning up against the wall, and this
But
is
it's a padded bag.
it's a padded bag for my flutes.
Okay, well,
And I have
that
you know,
was a letdown.
that was a letdown. I know it's like a Christmas present that you
I
rip
know,
open
like-
and it's an empty box.
I was like curious because I see everything. It's like, what's in there? It's like, oh, that
Yeah.
was a letdown.
Now, you know, I've you know, started shifting some of the type of music. I mean, I still do meditation with this added in it, but I've also.
I love the bowls. I love the sound of your bowls. Your
Yeah.
singing bowls.
And I've combined it. You know, I brought my iPad.
I see.
If it wants to recognize my finger.
Oh, I play that game too.
Yes. I have Mahjong popped up.
We're more alike than I thought.
Now, this, I will find, a lot of times what I'll add in the background through just my keyboard is like F sharp and C sharp. Now, C and F, C is basically the earth energy, goes up into the first chakra.
Okay.
That's how they associate with the colors and stuff. Again, those can be different, right, depending on what your baseline is for your vibration and what you resonate at. But this one here is just some. I put a little beat to it, and
I don't know if I can hear it.
I'm gonna go. I'll move in a little closer. I'm gonna get the volume up if I can get them.
If you can find it.
If I can find it on this thing here. Where was I? Okay. And I just used my loop pedal.
Okay.
So
A little closer to
I'm going to move a little closer to it, so I'm going to come in. And I did humming in the back.
It's
And I started
like
late.
intro music that I use for
Right.
For the show.
And you hear the Shruti box in the background. This is an F and C sharp before I play D and A. And then I will add on top of that while we're doing
okay.
things. Right, so I'll put a bass track going in the background, and then I'll add live stuff to it.
Nice.
So that's just one of the bass tracks on it. But I started adding beats to it also, because sometimes our energy can be stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And I found, I started doing some movement meditation type music, where the body wants to move. And I tell people, encourage them to, to move their body, and if they want to
And
get
I'm
up and close their eyes.
picturing Avatar, the movie where they're all sitting around the tree.
Right, kind of. That's
That's what I'm seeing right now.
yeah, that's kind of popped in my head too. So that's pretty freaking
That's
weird.
creepy.
Now this is I did a Mula mantra, and that's a
That's the entry music that
Yes.
we use for the show.
right, and this is the background track on here. This might have the mantra in it itself.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'll move this a little closer. Close your eyes. And that's just a little sample of the Mula mantra. And that one I think was recorded in D and G. And I'll just put that on here right now. Whoop, I got one other open. I could hear that one right away.
I know, right?
Om Satchinanda. And I try to get it, I feel a vibration going up in through my, I can't even think of the name of it. Oh my God. But through my chest I feel a vibration, and I know that's the vibration that starts to resonate out with it.
Okay.
And then, again, I would be able to play the flutes with this.
Nice.
We should zoom in on Mo. It looks like his mouth's open like he's doing it too, right, Mo?
I know, he's like,
But the different tones and the different vibrations, and a lot of people say I can't sing. Well, my voice was actually, when the doctor says say ah, sticks the tongue depressor in, you say ah, that was my singing voice. It was horrible, it was terrible. But as I was doing meditation and leading groups, I had one song that I used that I really liked, and it was a chanting, like hey, yeah, and it would go up and down, and I just started feeling it. So I was mumbling it one time, and I was like, I think I can do this.
Of course you can.
And then I had the Shruti box, and I started working with the Shruti box to try to.
I like the name Shruti Box. It's just a
Yeah.
fun name.
And they come in masculine and feminine energies.
Oh, really?
Yes,
How do you know
It'll-
the difference?
it'll tell you.
Oh,
They'll
really?
tell you. It'll say that. It'll say male or female.
Oh,
Right? Yeah.
interesting.
And these are, the little brother, little sister of the harmonium.
Mm-hmm.
And the harmonium has a keyboard, and you pump
Right,
it
right.
and stuff like that. But this is what taught me to be able to start using my voice and to be able to hit octaves
Nice.
instead of just saying ah.
Yeah.
But I actually started with that, like, oh.
Nice. I like that.
Moving up, and I
Right.
started working it. And, like they say, if you don't use it, you lose it, and you got to work it back again. And,
Right.
But all the different sounds that I use have a vibrational level to them
Oh, yeah.
that correspond to different parts of your body.
So,
And different emotions.
what's the frequency? Because some people say 432 is the perfect frequency, others say another frequency. and-
Well, parts of our body vibrate at different frequencies.
Mhm.
The muscles vibrate at, I don't know, I think it was 552 or something like that. And I've got tuning forks, not for the sound, but for the vibration, that are designed specifically for bone and tissue.
Oh, wow.
So when I've had injuries, I would use the tuning forks. If I had a bone bruise, I would put the one that's for the frequency of the bone to help stimulate the regrowth and repair the damage that's within it.
Nice.
So now the 440 that everything is at today only came about, I think, in the 1940s. And it's actually supposedly more dissonant to our systems than the 432. Right, the 432 is supposedly what we were designed to work with more.
Okay.
And they, for some reason, and some, the conspiracy theorists believe it's about control and everything else. And who knows?
Right.
But most of our stuff that we listen to now is set at 440.
Okay.
But 432 and some of the other vibrations are becoming much more popular because the spiritual people are finding that these different frequencies work differently in the psyche and in the physical aspects and spiritual aspects of the body.
Okay, I was just curious.
So, yeah.
So,
All my stuff here is all at the 440 because that's what was around. I mean, I don't know what the Dig, I'm sure that was probably set up with the tuner too at using what we're familiar with. But the thing is again, it's all intention.
right.
I think, I still feel tremendous amount of energy and peacefulness and joy when I'm playing these. So I'm not trying to get caught up in the head games
No.
of what they say is right and what this is better for you and this is better for you.
Because our opinions.
It is. And your thought, if you want to heal, if you want to grow, if you want to be a better person, or if you want to be angry and all this type of stuff, you can put on certain different sounds that are going
Right.
to get you into those spaces.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
what is your intention? It comes
Right.
down to. Now, going back into some of the other type of things that I've had here. I created a whole bunch one night. I think it was like 11 different
Oh, wow.
songs. This one here I called Babel Song. All right, and none of these are on CDs or anything.
That's the one. See, to
No,
me,
you see the thing
they
is-
sound a lot similar.
Well, they're identical. The
Oh.
background track is identical.
That's why I'm like, maybe this is the sound we're using in the beginning of the show.
See,
I'm all confused. Easily done.
right? The thing is, it's like if you listen to some of the musical groups, you know right away when they come on by certain sound. That's their signature.
Right.
Well, when I was doing this, the background, I kept hearing different things. Like this one here is called the Babel Song. And I'm going to start it from the beginning. And the words, the sound, what was coming out, I have no idea what they mean. It was just coming out of my mouth.
Huh.
It's like, some people would say it was like channeling.
Right.
But I kept feeling it. I felt the vibration.
Mine's all like, oh yeah.
And that's about a minute of the of that particular song.
Nice.
But I mean, even with that, I mean, holding it with the iPad, I could feel it,
Right, I mean, me too, it's like, totally.
and I came up with several different ones with it, and I just was like in another space. So I introduced it when I did one of my Transformation Through Sound concerts, meditation concert. I played this in it, and I sang with it, you know.
Right.
And I told people just allow themselves to express whatever, and people were getting up and dancing and swaying or just rocking in their thing, let the movement come, and releasing. And that's what I kept envisioning when I started doing this. And now I do a lot of my work after 11 o'clock at night.
How come?
Because
Is there a reason?
I'm a night owl,
Oh, okay.
you know.
I thought maybe there's just some cosmic
No, like the witching
reason.
hour, like at
Yeah,
midnight
some
and stuff
cosmic
like that.
reason or whatever.
Well, I mean, you know, I guess in all sense, maybe there is. But the thing is I sometimes feel more creative.
Well, and you know
that-
what?
that-
And I think
that late.
here's why I think that is, because at night people are asleep. There's less noise.
With that, and I think there's less
And there's-
electrical.
There's less
Magnetic
vibrations.
field.
There's less because people are chill and sleeping, and
Yeah.
you know, so there's none of that background noise that I call it. So I get that because I'm a night person too. I get my best work done like starting late in the evening.
Mhm.
You know, it's like that's when I have the best ideas.
Yeah, well, exactly. When things start to settle down, when your
Right.
body starts to settle down from the chaos of the day, all of a sudden the
Yeah,
creativity can
of
come
course.
back.
Here's me. I go sit on the recliner, you know, on our couch to watch a show,
And
and because now I stop moving. Exactly. I'm like out like a light, and I always laugh at my husband. I said, "Yeah, don't delete that."
now this next one here is on the same background, and this is with my little high G flute.
Do you have that with you?
Yes, I have the high G flute.
Oh, is that one now?
Yeah.
I like that. It's kind of like a little medieval
Yeah.
feel to it. Love that. That's fun.
And then
It's a happy sound. It's a happy, for me anyway. It's a happy.
yeah, and you just want to rock with it.
Right. Very cool.
But that's using the same background track.
Mm-hmm.
That it creates a vibration. But if you notice, it's different.
Right. It's totally different.
And the flute that you heard in there is this little guy, this tiny little
How
one.
cute.
You know. Mo is looking.
I hope you could see Mo. He's just like.
Would you like me to play it again?
Yeah, play for him.
You want to play it again? You ready? I'll play this for you, Mo.
Come on. Up. He's like, this is so weird what's going on in the studio today. I don't know what to make of this.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I know, huh? There was no warning. No,
You know,
there wasn't.
and I've done workshops talking about sound and vibration. And,
I love that.
And one of the things is that we've all had it. And if you've had a loving mother, or when you were little and you scraped your knee, and they picked you up, right? And put
Yeah, I
you-
wouldn't know what that's like.
Right, right.
No, I'm serious.
But-
I
but-
wouldn't know because I didn't have
But
that
you're a
kind
mom
of mother.
now, though.
Well, I'm a
You-
mom.
Right,
It's definitely,
and
yeah.
and you probably didn't treat your kids like you were treated.
Oh hell no!
Right. Now, when the little one fell and you put him in your arms and you're holding him, right? They
Yeah,
cut
you're
their knee.
rocking and you're humming. And
right.
you're,
What are you humming? You go.
Mhm.
You do the sound. Now,
Right.
remember, you know, you see the people meditating and they're going om.
Yes. Same sound.
It's the same sound. It's
Mmm.
it brings peace. It's security. It has all these different things.
I like that.
And, you know, so look at the similarities.
Right.
You know, mom, a mum. You know,
Yeah,
that sound.
I
Right.
get that. That makes sense.
So, you know, you start tying the different sounds together
Right.
and what they do and how you feel with them.
That's pretty cool.
And that's what I started doing. And I mean, I only started playing instruments a little over 10 years ago.
Oh wow.
I was absolutely not musically inclined growing up. I mean, I was that, like I tell people, like if they watched the movie The Jerk. Now, the younger generations.
That's exactly what I had in my mind right now.
All right, yes. I was the typical white boy, you know, stomp the foot and then click the fingers instead of going. It was. All right. I had no rhythm. I had no. I mean, I loved music. I loved musical instruments, but I couldn't play them worth anything. And I took lessons in a couple of different things, and it just didn't happen. And then it was.
It wasn't your time.
It wasn't my time. In 2007, I was at a seminar up in British Columbia, and they brought in African drums,
Oh.
and they passed them all out.
Okay.
And they taught us just do a bop, 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 you know, that type
Right.
of thing. And I had no idea that was going to be one of the biggest
I have
changing
dog hair on my
points,
face that's tickling me.
biggest changes in my life started because of that. I didn't know how to drum. I had a drum. I bought a drum at home because it had this dot painting on it. It looked really cool. So it sat next to my couch, and that's where I had my coaster on it. So it worked
It was a
great
drink
for.
holder.
It was great for beer, and it was great for tea. Because at that time I wasn't a coffee drinker. So we went to this thing, and they showed a simple little beat. And then they broke us into 3 different sections. And then this other section, they created another beat that would go along with it, and another one over there.
Oh, nice.
And so they started doing that, and we were all playing, and it was really good. And then they taught us some African songs, and I kept hearing more in my head. And I was just closing my eyes and doing. And then my hands were starting to hit and doing other things on there. And people around me stopped.
Huh?
And they turned around and looked at me, and I looked and I stopped, and they were like, the girl next to me, she goes, "John, how long you been playing drums?" And I said, well I looked up at the clock, and I said, "Oh, well, you know, it's about 10 minutes or whatever, 20 minutes." And she says, "Really?" She goes, you don't know how to play? You've never played before?" And I said, "No." And she's like, "Wow." Played some more. Like the other ones again stopped, and they were staring at me, and they were whispering to each other, and I was just getting into it. My hands are doing their own thing.
Wow.
Right? The guy next to me kept looking at me and looking at my hands, and then he closed his eyes, and all of a sudden he was playing with me. But it was in the right timing
Right.
of the other stuff. But we would come, and the girl next to me, she goes, "John," I said, "Oh, am I screwing this all up?" They said, "No, they were asking if you're a professional."
Snap.
Right? I was channeling it. That's all I can
Right.
say. I was channeling it. Because I had no lessons. I didn't know what I was doing. I let my hands go. I let whatever it was come out.
Right.
And it was great. It was magical. And I said, you know, I had so much fun. I felt so empowered afterward. I said, you know, I want to do this. This is my first introduction to drumming. And I heard about drum circles, but I didn't know anything about
See,
them.
my question was going to be, is like, so is that kind of like where the drumming circles
That's exactly
started?
where I said, I want to share this with somebody. And I heard about a drumming circle. And I don't know, I said I'm going to start one at Garden of the Gods. And it was probably 6 months after I went to that other seminar that I started the drum circle. But at that point, I, you know, started playing with went over to Manitou. It's a town, you know, the little city next to Colorado Springs. And they had a drum circle there. And I mean, I didn't know how to do it really. and I was very self-conscious and embarrassed, and but I
Right.
went anyway. And then there was I met this one guy, Mike, and he was just learning too, but he fastest, best drummer I've ever seen in my life.
Nice.
Naturally, done it naturally, and we started jamming near each other with this, and then we walking around Manitou, and there was a store that had stuff, and we saw a couple of drums and a didgeridoo in the window, so we went inside, and we talked, and we ended up jamming with the owner and
Oh,
one of
that's
the worker.
awesome.
And then he said, come on back. So we started hanging out down there.
That's
And-
awesome.
And then I started that full moon drumming, and I figured someone would show up that knew how to drum. And
Hoping, praying, putting it
yeah,
out
and
there.
then first time I had 15 people, and about 8 of
Nice.
them knew how to drum. So I started watching their hands and trying to imitate, and so I was getting taught. And then I saw people starting to come around and watch, so I handed my drum to them. So I went out and bought another drum. And every time that happened, I would go out
Gotcha.
and hand a drum to somebody to play who was standing and watching. And said I'd invite them in. And it started with about 15 people, and the most I've had was about 450 show up.
Oh, wow.
Right. Not all drummers. A lot of
No.
them just listening, dancing, hooping.
And there's
Doing the
rattles,
Floyd.
there's
Rattles,
the
yeah, and I-
hula-ring,
and I
there's
bring
just all
rattles.
kinds. So, funny story. The very first time I came to a drumming circle, a couple of years ago, with Barbara, and there was this gentleman, and he was dancing and going in circles, and every time he came around, he wore less clothes.
I did not see this. And it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
No, and I was like,
You don't want to see this body.
and we were looking at each other. It's like, all right, this is interesting. That was my first time I went, and that's the one thing that I remember. I mean,
You didn't have to go to a club for this.
I know, but I mean, what I love with the drumming circle is people are just with the beat, and sometimes even though I don't have a drum, I have a rattle.
Right.
And a lot of times I don't even play it. I just sit there with my eyes closed, and I just go with it. And it is just amazing. And guys, if you're not in Colorado Springs, wherever you are, see if you have a drumming circle that meets on the full moon especially. It is absolutely magical. It is amazing. There's really no words. And what I love, and it happened every time I was there when there was clouds.
Mm-hmm.
The drumming gets intenser and everything, and literally you watch the clouds open up and the moon comes out.
Yeah.
It's right there. That's powerful. That is so powerful, and I'm just sitting there going, whoa.
Yeah, like with the full moon drumming that I do, it's an intentional drumming.
Right.
It's a freestyle drumming as we go, and some people don't like that, but other people do like that. But that I have an intention. I talk about the phase of the moon, what the full moon means, what to work on as individuals to make your lives better and so forth.
Right.
So that's why I call it full moon drumming ceremony. Even though it's not technically a ceremony, I give a talk in the beginning.
Right.
And something to think about, and then we get going with the drumming, and it's a lot of fun, and trust me, you think your town might not have one, if you Google it and you put drum circle in this area, you're going to probably find them.
Probably. And the thing too is, so I keep bringing Mo now, and the first time I brought him, he was kind of like, what is this?
What is this? Yeah.
What is this? Now he sits there and he listens to it too with me, but he can only handle so much because I guess because the hearing is way better than ours.
Right.
And but yeah, even Mo enjoys it. I just decided that you enjoy it too. So anyway, this was awesome, John. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
I love that.
Yeah. And everybody's capable of it. Like me, I was like I always say, I was the typical white boy. I didn't have rhythm. I didn't have anything. I didn't have musical abilities until later on. They were in there, I'm sure, dormant. But it was, again, timing. But also, I shifted. Right? Because
We like the word
I allowed
shift.
I allowed myself to get out of my own
I
way.
got you.
And to do it anyway.
Right.
Even though when I was just learning and I was terrible, I did it anyway. And
that's the key. Do it anyway.
yeah.
You know, if you're scared, if you're worried or whatever, do it scared, do it worried, but do it.
You know when you were a kid, you closed your eyes when you didn't want anybody to see you?
Right.
Well, when you're out with doing something and you're learning, close your eyes and but connect with your heart. Because like with the flute, I had a challenge, and I'll just tell this brief story before we sign off.
Okay.
I was playing my didge already, and we had a little group. You know, we called it Sounds from the Wood, and we had one other guy that we brought in who could play the flute,
Mm-hmm.
and he also was a didge player, and he had crystal bowls, and I didn't have any of that stuff yet. I had a flute, but I didn't know how to play it. I opted when I bought the flute a week later. I got the didge, and I stuck with the didge with it first. Well, just when we were going to record, we were playing together. Let's see, friend Rick and I were together for probably about 6-8 months, and then we invited this other gentleman in to play, who's a very talented musician, and he came in, and we were supposed to record, and he quit 2 weeks before our recording date.
Oh, wow.
And we needed the flute in it because the music that we started creating had the flute in it. So I was like, oh my God. And I picked up my flute, and I'm struggling. I'm looking at the chart on how to do it and try to play the music that they have on there. And I was not getting anywhere. I was really pretty bad. And then one of the guys who I know, who's Native American, and he was a flute player, he said, John, it's a hard instrument. He goes, close your eyes. Do you know how to cover the holes? I said, yeah. He goes, just close your eyes and let the heart take over. And 2 weeks later, I recorded the first CD.
Nice.
And then it's, now I...
And I think music, it comes from the heart.
It is.
I think it's really, it's sound from within coming out.
Yeah.
And yeah. No, that's cool. I like it.
Yeah. And I mean, I believe everybody can do it.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. It's about just trying it and doing it and sampling different things. How it started for me too is because I thought it sounded cool and I wanted to do it. And I didn't let it stop me. I didn't let my ego
There you go, and that's key. That's
I
really
didn't
key.
let it get in my
Don't
way.
let the noises
and trust
take
me,
over.
it wanted that negative voice wanted to say you're not, you suck. And I
Right.
still, some people say I'm a really good player. I say I'm an okay player. I can't judge it for myself, so it's what other people, it's whatever they want it to be.
Right.
I'll just play it.
It's all good.
Yeah, it is. It's all good. So be all good and give it
all
a
good.
shot.
Yeah, do it. I mean, if you want to sing, sing. I do showeroke and karaoke quite well.
Showeroke, I like that.
But I mean, it's
So the
it's
words
like,
are clean then when they come out, huh?
okay. we'll go with that. No, but I mean, it's really let it come from the heart.
Yes.
Don't overthink it. Just do it.
Yeah.
And don't worry what other people think, because again, you get judged anyway.
Yeah.
So do what you enjoy doing.
A lot of times what you'll end up telling yourself is that I'm not ready yet. I need more practice. I need more this.
No, you don't.
It's about just doing it, and you'll be surprised at what comes out and how far and words of support that can actually
Right.
come out. Even if you weren't that good, when you get the supportive word and people didn't walk out of the room or they sit there and say, "You're coming along.
Right.
You're sounding a lot better than I thought you would."
And the more you do it, the better you get.
Right.
It's that simple. So
Yeah.
don't stop. Do it. Just
And
have
create
fun.
your own. Don't bother trying to imitate everybody else.
No.
You can do that after you create your own. All right. Me, I don't like to imitate other people's music. I mean, I will get ideas from their music, but
Right.
it will become mine. I'll make my own out of it. I'll
I like
look
that.
for a certain tone that they've created, and I'll try to learn how to do that and add of that little flick
Right.
to something.
No, and that's important. It's like be you.
Yeah.
So anyway, cool.
Yes. Well,
Thank you.
you've been watching.
You've been musicized.
You've been
That's-
musicized. Yeah.
That's not even the
You've
word.
been vibrated.
Okay, now it's getting weird.
Well, we did, and it's
Okay, yes.
and we'll on a closing note we'll do
Oh,
a
there you
little vibration
Okay,
with the
cool.
didgeridoo.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching.
Bye. So fun fact real quick before we sign off.
Mhm.
Mo was growling in unison with the vibration of the
Yes.
ditch.
Thank you for toning with us.
I know.
You did fantastic.
Thank you guys.
Mo.
Be awesome.
Thank
be
you.
good.
Yes.
Be loved.
See you next time.
Ciao.